Good afternoon, everybody. August 18th, 2023. It's around 11:10 a.m. So here's the brake line. This is the front one going back to the rear. This is a continuation video. So here's the front line of the rear brake line. The front one, there's two of the rear long brake line. So far all I did was I was able to reuse this clip. That was a bonus. It wasn't rusted or anything, I guess, because it was covered in grease. It was good to go. So that's all I did so far, was just use this front clip to secure the brake line. And now I bought all new clamps. I originally was just going to pull back the clamp like this and lay in the brake line, but wound up buying all new grommets and clamps, so I'm ready to take off the other side now of these clamps. As you could see, there's the big one. Sorry, I'm under the car, it's a little hard to work the phone. Oh, there's the big one right there. That's the main one on the cross member. So I'm going to be running the line back to the back, clamping everything up, taking out these rusty nuts. See, the other side. I already took out one side. Let's go over to the picnic table now. Hold on a second. Show you what I got there. Oh boy, I tried to hit pause. We'll just keep it rolling. All right. Okay, so here's the parts. New grommets. Here's the main one that goes on the cross member. New hardware. I'm going to just spray some of this in here so the lines go in easy. This looks like a little bridge over a stream, doesn't it? Okay. And what I did was I painted my brackets a funky green color. They got a little wet because it poured this morning, but they were already dry, so the sun's going to dry them nice. Okay, so that's the next step. I'm going to lay in the brake line. The brake line's in the trunk. I got to go get it now. Okay, bye. It's around 11:15 a.m. August 18th, 2023, and I bought new stainless steel brackets for the wire harness. I didn't have to paint them because they're stainless steel, because the old ones are shot. So don't reuse old rusted brackets. You're taking the thing down anyway. So just get a set of stainless steel harness brackets and you'll be good to go. Cable holders. Okay, bye. Okay, as you can see, here's what I removed. All the old brackets, the rubber grommets, and there's all the hardware. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, my approach, I've never done this before. I put the new stainless wire harness clamps on the harness. See, they're just kind of hanging out. See, this one's alone, so I bolted him back on. He doesn't have a brake line clamp, so he's just a wire harness clamp. So everything is, here's one of the locations. So the harness bracket, it will go first on the stud. Here, you just push it on first. Then, so what I'm going to do is get the brake line and just put it under the car and kind of bend it up. Here's where it goes in the back. So somehow magically it's got to end up there. That's all ready for it, see? And then in the front, somehow magically it's got to wind up there, connecting to that. Okay, and then between all the grommets and stuff, make sure you put your lines in the right order. I believe mine were going from the middle of the car to the outside. big metal diameter line, then a plastic line, then a less big metal line, and then the brake line. The harness doesn't go in the clamps. This doesn't go in the clamps. This has its own clamps, see? Okay? So what I'm going to do is kind of bend up the brake line the way it should be bent. Then I'm going to clamp the clamps in the back only and leave it loose. So I'm going to just clamp the, put on the back hardware in the back of the clamp with the grommet, get that everything ready. And then the last thing I'm going to do is pop in the brake line into the clamps, into the grommets, these rubber grommets, since the brake line is towards the outside of the car. See, the brake line is that small opening there, that small gap, because it's the smallest line. Okay, so this is all the old parts. Not going to reuse them. I mean, most of the brackets are good, except for these wire harness brackets. They're shot, they're breaking, very rusty. The metal brackets are thick, so if you don't want to buy new ones, you could probably reuse them. This one, the one that slid in, actually rusted and the hole broke. But that's the frontmost one that doesn't have a bolt on that side or a stud. It just slips into a slot. Okay. Bye. Okay, here's the brake line. I have my helper recording. Thank you, helper. Okay. So the big fitting goes toward the back. So the demonstration here is just showing how you just unravel these copper nickel brake lines. See? And you could bend them under the car to whatever shape you need. Okay? That's all. Cut! Okay, I kind of bent the line a little bit under the car, and it just makes sense to put the female front coupler here on the line, not under the car. So the small one, the male, is a 7/16, and the big one on the coupler appears to be a 9/16. So I'm going to tighten these up. Or you could gently put it in the vise and then tighten this male part here. Don't squeeze it too hard, just enough to hold it. And then just use your 7/16. Perfect. There you go. I already tightened this. Okay, done. Okay, as you can see, I secured the front brake line into the coupler that was already attached to the rear brake line. But make sure you route the rear brake line on the top side of the cross member. Oh, can you see that? Yeah, see? On the top side of the cross member. And then you could see it just, headed back there, just hanging off the car right now. But at least it's ready to go. This I threaded by hand, of course, first. I got it in like 4 or 5 threads before I even thought of picking up a tool, because if I were to strip this or ruin this, that would have been a big setback, because then I'd have to reroute this whole front line if I damaged those threads. Or, well, I guess I could have got a flaring tool and put a new connector on it. I could have did that too, but I'm not trying to make work for myself. So here's the rear line. It's number 16 in the Automec kit there for this particular MGB 1972. It's a dual circuit without the servo. Without the brake booster. Okay, bye-bye. Oh, now I'm just going to start from the front bracket, front grommet, and just go all the way to the back. I'm going to bend the line along the run with my hands and do that. Okay, bye. Just once again, this is a 9/16 and this is a 7/16. Okay? Okay, bye. I'm not sure if this is blurry, and I apologize. Just screwing in the brackets. You could see the first I put the hoses in the perspective slots. Okay. There we go. Snug it down. So you got to do this times 4. Fortunately, all the studs coming down were okay. And that's what it's going to look like when it's done. Now you can see my brake line is not bent appropriately for here. 1, 2, 3, 4. But now that it's snug here, this is my trick. Now that it's snug here, I could just bend it by hand appropriately and continue on back. Okay, sorry about all the angles. I know the angles are screwed up because I'm under the car. Okay, bye. Okay, so here's my clamp. I literally just made this bend here. There's the clamp. Then the line's got to go over here. Then I bent it again, going back. So it goes inward and downward. Okay, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. Okay, then it comes outward, and you see I got it poised going to the back of the car. I just stuck it inside that clamp, hanging down. Okay, so you know, if you have pretty strong hands, not even, you could shape these lines under the car. I didn't even use a tool, so my hat's off to whoever invented these brake lines, because they are just wonderful to work with. And I'm not a mechanic. I just do this stuff for fun. Okay, bye. Okay, I got the big grommet. All the lines run through the big grommet. I started from the back with the big metal line, then the plastic line, then the slightly smaller metal line, and then the brake line. Now I'm going to put the bracket on here with the 2 bolts and lock washers. And those are a 13mm head. Okay, as you can see, the clamps are looking good. Show you the finished product here. There's the coupling. First clamp, second clamp, the clamp under the cross member there, and the one right behind that. Okay, and we got nice stainless steel clamps on the wire harness, as you could see. Okay, see my brake line. Then I'm just on the final stage here, connecting these two. My brake line. I probably should have went. Where is it? Oh, above this. Probably should have went above that, but I'm changing that hose anyway. So I'll just put the line above it when I change that hose. I didn't think that was a big deal. So I just have to connect the back here. And then, if you could see that coupler back there with those 2 brake lines, one going to the left and one going to the right. That will be my next project, to do those 2 lines. That's not going to be in this video. That may be in the next video, if I even make a video. It's just 2 little brake lines there. You get the idea. This was a little entailed because you're kind of under the car. But what I'm going to do for those rear ones is jack up the car, take the jack up the rear of the car, put it on jack stands, take both wheels off, and then I'll have easy access to those lines. Okay, to the, you know, from that junction to the masters to the brake cylinders on each drum brake. Okay, so that might be a next video, but I'm just going to connect this line up here now, And then that'll be it for this video. I'm gonna wrap this project up today. It took a while, you know. I'm sorry, I'm a little shaky. Let me hold it with two hands. There we go. Okay, there you go. I'll put that on, then I'll show you what that looks like. I just wanted to share with you a little trick. I'm not a mechanic, but you know, common sense. What I usually do with brake lines, not that it's like my second brake line job here. What I usually do, it's my second brake line job. Anyway, I'm a quick learner. So anyway, I bend the brake line so that it's not fighting you. In other words, here's its final, there's where it wants to go. So you could see, it's happy there. So when you slide this nut down and start screwing it on to that, the line's not going to fight you. If the line is fighting you, you have a darn good chance of cross-threading that brake line. And I mean, I know it's common sense, but I don't know who's watching these videos. Maybe nobody. They're here to entertain myself. But you don't just get the line in place. That's where it belongs. That's where it wants to be. Okay? Then you'll have no problem screwing this on, and of course do it by hand first. Okay? And then drive it home with the proper tools to tighten it. Okay? And that would be these guys, one of them. Okay, bye. Okay, folks. As you can see, the rear line is now tightened on the rear rubber brake line. And I must confess, I was turning it and I realized that I saw the rubber hose move. Now that rubber hose should not move, so I had to retighten the hose, because that kind of locks into that. There's like that's a lock washer. This piece of metal around the bracket, and the hex, the point from the hex of the rubber hose goes into one of the slots, and to prevent it from rotating when you're tightening the metal line here. So I had to retighten that. But I didn't take off my threaded metal line here. I didn't want to redo that. So what I wound up doing was I held this with an adjustable wrench. I held that hex on the rubber line with an adjustable wrench, and then just finished tightening this. So that's not going anywhere. Okay. And here's the nice line routed. And there you go. Well, I showed you that already. Well, let me flip around here. And there's everything going up the front. Took me the better part of a day to do this. I work slow. I take my time. But that's the final step right there. And another day I'm going to do the two small lines to the rear drum brakes. I think it's a good job. Okay. Have a great weekend, everybody. Hopefully this helped somebody out. Bye. Thanks for watching.